What's up guys, I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're Drivin and Vibin.
And today we're joined by Brad and Maggie from Wonderland Travelers, and we're going to be talking about 12 lessons learned from RV living, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are super excited to catch up with these guys. We're actually at the Escapers annual bash and we have met so many great people. So we thought, why not get some really awesome interviews with different perspectives of life on the road? And we love the topic of lessons learned. What happened that you didn't expect going into this life?
Yeah. So let us start by thanking you guys for joining us today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having us.
Heck yeah. And we've been watching your YouTube channel for a long time. You've been on the road for about 2.5 years.
That's right, yeah.
I remember watching some of your very first videos as we were new to the road as well. So
Awesome guys.
we'll link their YouTube channel below, so make sure you subscribe to that. But let's hop into some of these lessons learned. Are they in any specific order today?
We're saving the best for last.
You got it.
But
All
that's
right.
about it.
So
yeah.
we'll start with number 12 then and work our way to number 1.
Okay, so the first thing we figured out was just how much we can control our cost of living. When we first started out, we were staying in campgrounds and things started to add up very quickly. And we knew at the beginning that we wanted to boondock, but it was still a little intimidating to us. So it took us a while to get into that. And so as we went on, we boondocked more, we saw how much we were saving, and it just really clicked how much we can control our expenses.
Did you enjoy the boondocking experiences as much as the RV park, or what was your initial experience with that?
We were blown away. I couldn't believe that this was a legitimate thing that people can do.
Yeah, our first experience was in the San Juan National Forest near Durango, and it was just peaceful and quiet and beautiful, and so we were hooked immediately.
Yeah, we were hooked.
And I think we had a very similar experience. Like when we first started out, we were staying at like RV parks. We were in full tourist mode, I feel like, and spending way more money than we needed to be at the time. So yeah, I bet that's going to be a common thing among RVers, is learning how we can play with that budget and adjust, especially utilizing things like boondocking.
So let's jump into the next lesson learned. Working our way down the list, number 11, what y'all got?
One thing we didn't anticipate was how dirty this life can be. Dumping the tanks every week.
Tracking mud and sand in constantly, especially when you're boondocking.
Yes, I feel this like so like closely right now because of the rain, non-stop rain here, and like all of the sand. And I think River has tracked in like a beach worth of sand into our bed at this point.
Totally.
And I'm just like, it'll never end.
I took it everywhere with me, so it's a little dirty.
So how did y'all deal with that? Did you figure out a way to keep it a little less dirty?
I think we just had to get used to it, because at first it was so hard for me to walk around and feel sand under my feet all the time, and I think you just learn to loosen up a bit more about it. I don't know. And another thing in line with that was showering less, right?
Yes.
Like how dirty this life can be, you're showering a lot less often, and in the beginning I was really worried about that transition, but you just get used to it. And
Totally used to it now.
Yeah,
And
totally embrace dry shampoo.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
one of the benefits is that we don't see as many people when we're out boondocking, so you know,
Exactly.
it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
That's true.
I should take a shower. I smell like a fermented grape.
So what do we have at number 10 for the lessons learned?
So we've learned just how much more we're affected by weather, right? So wind affects your driving days. Sometimes it rocks you to sleep at night, or makes you, for us, put our slides in because the rippling is so noisy. Rain, very noisy on the RV, and then just following the weather, the temperatures. So
Definitely. We just didn't know like the weather patterns in the desert really, and we didn't know like how like big these windstorms could be without any trees like breaking up that wind. And then also like when it does rain, it flash floods frequently, so you don't want to be parked in a wash
Most
in that
definitely.
situation.
yeah, so you're paying much more attention to the weather, and you're much more in tune with it, like just seeing every sunset if you want to, you know, like
so
I'm
true.
so much more aware of that.
So true. What do we have next on the list?
Laundry.
So that was one of the things that we were, or at least myself, you know, we came from living in a house where we had our own machines, And so my big concern was, gosh, where are we going to figure out how to do our laundry? And it's easy, you know, there's
Really?
laundromats
Yes.
everywhere. Don't sweat it. Don't worry about that.
Totally.
And it's usually faster than I could ever wash my clothes
Right.
at home, really.
Yeah.
Like you go to one of those triple load washers or just like fill up the whole laundromat if you have to and you're done in like an hour.
Exactly. 1
Yeah,
hour.
we're doing laundry half as often as we did at the house. Or
That's
even
true.
less.
That's right, baby. It's your laundromat love machine.
All right, so we're working our way down the list, getting to some bigger lessons learned. What do we have coming up next?
Next one is that we definitely could have used a smaller RV. We were only on board a week or two when we both looked at each other and said, man, this is too big.
Yeah, we're in a 33-foot motorhome, and it's definitely more than we need. And so if we had gone smaller, we would be getting better gas mileage, we'd be more maneuverable.
Fit into more campsites.
Yeah, there's been several campsites on the California coast that's like 25-foot max, and so we're just like, oh, yeah. So we would have gone smaller if we had, I don't know. I guess sometimes it's hard to know until you get into it, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like obviously we all like to boondock a lot, so we like that maneuverability and staying pretty small to help us out with that.
Yeah.
But other people, you know, might stay at RV resorts full time and that's not really as big of an issue.
Totally.
Yeah. So another lesson we learned is that it's really handy to have a TPMS and roadside assistance.
Tire pressure monitoring system. Yeah, those have been invaluable to us. There's been a few times where we've had dramatic loss of tire pressure.
Oh, wow.
And so to safely get off the road before anything disastrous happens.
Actually, both times we were already parked when it happened.
Yeah, we
so
were
it saved
stationary.
us from driving on an
Yeah.
empty tire.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
very
That's
cool.
great.
Or a really
Yeah.
low tire. And then just, our insurance, through that we have roadside assistance, and that has also really made things that could have been stressful very not stressful.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes.
they showed up and it was fine.
Which do you use of the roadside assistance?
But it's through Progressive, just through
Progressive.
insurance.
Okay.
Very cool. And we use Good Sam, and we've only had good experiences with them. And
Only had to use it twice, I
yeah.
think.
So we have a pretty big freshwater tank. We have a 100-gallon tank, but even with that, we run out sometimes. So it's been really nice to have a little 5-gallon collapsible water jug that we can refill.
We've
And-
used it so much.
Yeah, we've used that a lot. You know, we fill it up and then we have a little vinyl hose to direct the water into our freshwater tank.
All right. And do you drink out of your freshwater tank, or do you?
We
yeah.
do.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we met a lot of people that don't, but
Yeah.
we sanitize it every so often, and we have double filter
Perfect.
action going on.
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah, we don't travel with 100 gallons of water, certainly. And so we'll get to places, and our only option for filling up might be a drinking fountain.
All right.
And
wow.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't fill up. So we'll just do like a few 5 gallons and get that in.
All right. Cool.
That's usually what we do too. We have a little 5-gallon jug that we use to refill. Some of our friends had those giant 50-gallon water bladders, and I'm like,
Those are
wow,
handy.
Yeah.
fancy.
I know, yeah. So another big lesson that we learned, we redid our floors a little over a year ago now, but when we got into it, we thought it was going to be this quick, like week-long thing, and it just turned it, you guys know because you've been doing renovations, but it just turned into this bear of a project. There were so many unexpected problems that we encountered,
Yeah.
and so I think it's easy to watch videos online of how to redo your floors, and maybe people make it look a lot easier than it is. And with our situation, we had carriage bolts and our slide became a problem. And so I think just take it with a grain of salt that these projects can turn into
Yeah.
a lot bigger than you expect.
That definitely goes for any project in the RV. It's always going to take longer than you expect. If you think it's going to take an hour, it's probably going to take 3. So, you know, just be prepared for that. Don't try to do these things when you're in a crunch for time.
Yeah,
Totally.
most definitely. And you know, the videos we put out of our renovation last 10 minutes long, but sometimes the process lasts 3 days and us yelling back and forth at each other. So you never, what you're getting on the
Yeah.
video definitely doesn't always translate to real life.
Yeah.
We're working our way pretty close to the bottom of the list. What
Yeah.
do we got now?
So we travel with our 2 dogs, and they're both pretty special needs as far as vet stuff goes. And so we've just found that we see vets in different states all the time, so it's very helpful to have their records printed out. And they're both on prescription food, so we carry around copies of their prescriptions. And even for ourselves, having our own medical records printed out that we carry around
Yeah.
has been helpful.
Definitely, because it's like you have to become a new patient at every single vet's office, and it takes a little bit longer than a typical vet visit because of that. But it's been pretty easy, and everyone's been very like accommodating that we've met along the road and had to refill River's prescriptions and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
that's definitely super important, especially if you want to cross the borders too.
Right.
It's like have all of that stuff up to date, all the shots up to date, all the records.
And we always make sure every time we leave a new vet, ask them to print out the records that they have generated, and they're always very willing to do that.
What is number 2 on the list?
Finding freshwater can be difficult.
Yeah, it's one of the most daunting things because there's not an easy app that you can just check and find it. But what we've found is that compendium reviews
Yes.
can be a great source. And so we encourage anyone who's leaving a compendium review for boondocking, it would be really helpful to say where you found your water.
And where you dump.
And where you dump, yeah. Yeah, those are very important and helpful things. So
We've got this sixth sense now to really keep an eye out for dumpsters and water spigots. We found that in front of post office sometimes we can find them. Just anywhere randomly in public areas, there are sometimes spigots that are unlocked hanging out.
And even like when we're in our hometown, I find myself still like zeroing in on water faucets randomly. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I don't need that right now. Like, but you're totally like in tune of those things because you never realize like how difficult it can be to just like top off your fresh water, or dispose of
Yes.
a bag of trash. You're like, where's a public
Trash is
dumpster I
hard.
can put this in?
yeah, definitely.
All right, so we made it down to the biggest lesson. And so what do you have for us as the best lesson learned?
The number one lesson we learned is it's about our travel style. We used to go pretty fast at the beginning, traveled long distances to cover ground and, see things really quickly, but we've learned to slow down. And our motto is, what is it? Always keep moving, just not too fast.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
That's a good motto. I think that is the number one thing we hear from most new RVers is that they travel too fast in the first year. We are definitely guilty of that, and it almost takes you to a point of burnout. And you're like, what are we doing? We're exhausted. We're about to kill each other. We're stressed out from travel days.
Yeah.
And it's like, we just need to decompress. Like
Yes.
breaking down and setting up camp over and over and over and over and over again,
Yeah.
and not really allowing yourself that time to decompress can like really wear you down.
Totally.
So that is a super, super great lesson.
Yeah.
And thank you for all of your lessons
I
learned.
know.
We definitely could relate to all of them.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. This is so fun.
It's
so
awesome.
great to meet all
Yeah,
you.
it's
Yes.
awesome to get to meet you guys. And remember, the channel will be linked below in the comments section and in the description. So make sure you go follow these guys because y'all put out some great videos.
Thanks
Yes,
so much.
Thanks,
definitely.
guys.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you have any comments or questions, leave those down below, and we'll see you next time.
Later on.
Bye.